Hi there, welcome back to my channel. I hope you are doing good. So today we are going to see difference between Jenkins versus GitHub Actions. So let's get started with today's video. So firstly, let's discuss some basic differences. So GitHub Action is basically a CI/CD tool integrated within GitHub, but Jenkins is completely a different server only. Second, if setup, I'll talk. So setup GitHub Actions do not require any separate installation and everything, but Jenkins is a different server, so setup is required. You need to install that and set up. It will take hardly 2 to 3 minutes, and actions are mostly written in YAML language, and Jenkins is depends on the pipeline, scripted or declarative. So Groovy script, you can see. Hosting, both are cloud and self-hosted. So second language, if I'll talk, so syntax I have already told. YAML is GitHub Actions and Jenkins is Groovy based. So extensions, if I'll say, so GitHub Marketplace is there, so you can purchase extensions from there. So here, if I'll show you dashboard, so here you can see all these, and in the left hand side menu you can see all four actions. And in Jenkins, if you'll go to manage Jenkins, so there you can see plugins. Inside that, if you will go plugins, you can see if updates is there, whichever available plugins are there, and whichever installed plugins that you have installed. Advanced settings is also there. So GitHub Action is having limited like depends on runners and YAML logic only, whereas Jenkins is more customizable. So let's talk about integration. So if we'll see about GitHub integration, so GitHub Actions is built into GitHub itself, so it works in there. So if you have to do any push code, so no extra setup is required, it will just work. Whereas Jenkins, it's an external tool, so for GitHub you need to install GitHub plugin, then configure like webhooks manually to connect to GitHub to Jenkins. And sometimes it depends on your method, generate tokens or setup authentication is also there. So third party tools, so I've shown you just marketplace where you can find and reuse like ready-made actions like Slack notification, Docker login, or AWS deploy. So these are already built in. You can just directly use from marketplace. Jenkins, whereas uses plugins for integration. So there is also like plugins for Docker, GitHub, Slack, Maven. So all these plugins you can use. And both Jenkins and Actions both support Docker and Kubernetes. So now let's discuss security wise. So GitHub Access uses same permission system as of GitHub. So if a user can push to a repo, they can trigger or modify also workflow. But if user is an admin, so they can manage workflow and secret, but no extra setup needed. Whereas Jenkins allow a very detailed access control. You can allow specific user to run certain jobs, edit pipelines, or manage settings. So it's a matrix based security, so where you can set permission per user and per job. Jenkins a little bit setup is required. So Action is like simpler and automatic, where Jenkins give more flexibility but needs manual setup. So GitHub Actions has built-in secret manager. You can securely store APIs, keys, token, password in GitHub secrets. So these are encrypted and injected into workflow as env environment variable. Whereas Jenkins does not support any secret management. So either you can store secrets in Jenkins credentials, or either you need to use any plugins that credentials plugins, or integrate with AWS Secret Manager, and these secrets will be injected into build steps. So now if cost wise I'll talk, so GitHub Action is free for public repos, but limited minutes for private, so that will cost you a little bit. But Jenkins is free and open source, and it's GitHub Action is based on usage, and Jenkins is just server and maintenance cost wherever you have deployed. Now let's talk about use case. So if you have any small or medium level project, then you can use GitHub Actions. But if it's an enterprise one, then you can use Jenkins, because it's a strong support it will give, and it is easy to scale it. Now, if you have complex pipeline and multi repo builds, so then Jenkins is a better option. And last is like hybrid or more infrastructure level, then you can use both. So when to use what is mostly similar only. So when your code is hosted on GitHub and you want quick setup and automation, and you have simpler and medium level pipelines. But Jenkins, if you have customizable and powerful CI/CD tool you need, you have large enterprise pipelines, and you are not just limited to GitHub. You have other like SVN, Bitbucket, or any other things also is there. So let's take one use case. Check out code we have to do, then set up Python and installing dependencies from one requirement.txt file, then run test and deploy to staging if test pass. So first let's see GitHub Actions. So this on push branch. So this means that whenever someone pushes this branch, so then automatically starts CI/CD. Then second is jobs build test deploy runs on Ubuntu latest. So this is defines a job name build test deploy runs the job on the latest Ubuntu runner provided by GitHub. Then let's see steps. So first is check out code. So this will check out. After that, setup Python is there, version 3.10. After that, installing dependencies. So it will install pip and upgrade to latest version. And then it will install all Python package listed in requirements.txt file. After that, it will run test using PyTest framework. So if any test will fail, the next step will won't run. So this step only run if all previous steps succeeded. Placement, like it's a placeholder for staging deployment. So now Jenkins code, let's see. So here first environment variable for Python version, it's there. Then first stage you can see checkout code with same main branch. After that, set up Python. So this will be installing Python and virtual environment also it will create. Then installing dependency. So pip install whichever is there in requirement.txt that it's installing. After that, same run test, and if anything goes wrong, then only run the last stage if it's a success, otherwise send notification for failure. So I hope you got the difference between Jenkins and GitHub Actions. So that's all in this video. I hope you like this video. If you have still any doubt between these two, then comment down in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, share and subscribe to my channel.